Hello. Hi. Oh, wow. It's been a while. Welcome back to our podcast. Hi, Austin. How are
Wonderful
you?
to see you, Josh. It's
Oh,
wonderful. It's unfortunate that we don't get to chat or hang out much besides the podcast.
I
So our many
know.
listeners, I mean, they really just get the full view of our chats and our conversations.
Yeah.
But the unfortunate part is when we don't record for 2 months, that means we don't really chat for 2 months. So we've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah. No kidding. It's nice that we were able to catch up through these things, but maybe we should consider talking more frequently, I guess.
Maybe we should be friends instead of just podcast hosts. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think the traditional American male friendship now starts with podcast ship,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then it eventually grows into real life friendship. So,
Yeah, like
um,
maybe one day we'll get close enough to be friends rather than just having a podcast together.
yeah, I just why is it so hard to make friends? Yeah, it's because you need a successful
Well,
podcast first.
yeah. Well, in any case, I haven't been doing a lot of hanging out with anyone lately because we had a baby, we had a child. Um,
Congratulations,
Thank
congratulations.
you, thank you. He's I would say happy and healthy, but he's healthy,
Good.
uh, which is good. I'm thankful for that. But
Yes.
yeah, have not. He has been definitely a far more difficult baby than our daughter.
Hmm.
So doesn't like to be set down. Wants us to be holding him
Yep.
basically all the time, including overnight. He doesn't sleep in his bassinet or crib on his
Yeah.
own, so he has to be held overnight as well. So we're doing a lot of nights like in the recliner
Hmm.
with him strapped up, so that we can sleep
Hmm.
together. So he has been definitely a difficult baby, but he's almost 2 months now,
Hmm.
and I think things are starting to turn around, trending up a little bit. But yeah, I'm amazed that I got here on time with my shirt on the right way
Yeah.
and everything to hop on and chat with you. But that's basically all that I've been doing and thinking about for the last 2 months.
I can imagine, and I mean, very exciting for you and your wife and your other kid to have a new sibling. But yeah, I feel for you, man. I know how rough those first few months are, and it feels like it's never gonna change. And this is your future now. Like you're gonna be
Yeah.
you're gonna be holding this baby well into his teens to try to get him to sleep, but and then one day you won't have to, and he'll sleep. And
Yeah.
but so I hope that day comes for you soon. I can't imagine. It's just the idea that you can't even like have can't set him down just for a little bit without him getting upset. That must be really tough. But
Yeah. Definitely been tough, and we've had several moments of like it's 3 in the morning and he's upset, and we look at each other and we're like, we're probably done having kids, right?
yeah, we're done.
Which isn't the time or place to make that decision.
No.
But at 3 in the morning, it definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think things might be turning around, but it's like, uh, yeah, man, it's like like people talk about like the 0 kid to 1 kid transition being like this really crazy experience, and it is 100%
Yep.
changes you definitely. But it's a different level when you have a difficult second because we get our toddler down for bed, and before it's like, okay, this is our handful of hours to have to ourselves, and now it's like, okay, now this is our handful of hours to just like
Have
lay
just
on the
one kid.
couch and
Yeah.
yeah, and only have one kid to
Uh-huh.
take care of. So
Yeah.
definitely an adjustment, but I think things are trending up, and we'll get into a better groove in the near future. Um,
Good.
but yeah, man, it's definitely been kicking our butts.
Hmm. Has there
How
been
uh, how have things been? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, have there been any like respites or like things that are keeping you going through all this whole experience? Like, are you at least able to like watch a fun show or like listen to a podcast or think about astrophysics while you're rocking a
Yeah,
baby?
yeah, yeah. Few and far between. We've been trying to get into the last season of The Bear. I think we've talked
Mhm.
about The Bear
Yeah.
on the podcast before. We're only a few episodes in. Um, but not a ton other than that. I mean, thankfully, both of our families are nearby, so we've been definitely taking advantage of that, getting some assistance
Mhm.
in that way. I honestly don't know how people have kids if they don't have
Yeah.
numerous helpers nearby, numerous willing helpers. I don't know how folks do it without that advantage that we definitely have. So we've been taking advantage of that when we have the hard days
Yeah.
to call in reinforcements, and that's been super helpful for sure. But
Yeah.
don't think we would have been able to do it without them.
Yeah. For sure. I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, what's been going on over at the Larson household?
Oh, we are just in the thick of summer. We had a fun couple weeks around the 4th of July. We had my sister Hannah got married up in a small town in Iowa called Dalles. It's about a
Hmm.
90 minutes drive from here, and so took the boys up, before right before the 4th of July for a rehearsal dinner, and then went back for the wedding that weekend, and it was really good. It was really fun, nice small wedding, and good to see a lot of people, a lot of relatives who I haven't seen in a long time. Um, and then we also had just the 4th of July. I did like a 5K this year here in town, and that was really
Wow.
fun. And took the boys to the park for pancakes and then the parade. And then there was just lots of fireworks going off around the whole neighborhood because
Yeah.
not only did Iowa legalize fireworks a few years back, they doubled down this year and said that cities cannot impose restrictions on fireworks on certain days. And so the cities are like, all right, we tried, but like everyone can do
Yeah, this is
fireworks.
America.
This is
This is
America.
America, and you have access to fireworks, and no one's going to
Yes,
tell you
no
no.
one's going
That's
to
what
tell
the Fourth
you.
of July is all about. Is no
Right.
one can tell Americans no.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that sounds great. Definitely busy, especially with your 3 kid household now.
Hmm. Yeah,
So something like a 90-minute drive to a wedding is that's an undertaking.
it
How
is.
have the kids done with all the busyness and the trips and
They
everything?
they did really well. They did great during the wedding
Good.
itself, and were very patient during the whole ceremony, during pictures before and after. The drive, it is funny because I mean Bree did all the packing and put in all that work, but it's almost like you're going for an overnight, but you're not because you have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
plan on like, oh, I'm gonna have to probably put them in their pajamas and bring all the extra clothes and then all the snacks
yep,
and bring the pack and play in case he needs a nap and
yep.
um, we broke out for the first time in as parents the screen time in the car. So may have opened
Yeah,
Pandora's
yeah,
box a little bit there. I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we did a pretty good job. We put limits on it. Like
yeah.
I loaded up a few shows for both kids, the older kids, and also brought the Switch for the oldest, and it went over pretty well. We were hoping the middle child would take a nap on the ride. He did not any of the opportunities that were presented, but we made it.
No, no,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah, we're actually gearing up for a large road trip. On our side, we have a wedding, also a wedding in northern Michigan,
Mm, okay.
Sutton's Bay, Michigan. So it's all the way up
Wow.
on the tip of one of the fingers of the mitten. So it's gonna be about a 10-hour drive,
Ooh.
and with the 2 kids, and we're like, we're definitely going. We're close to this person, so we're going to the wedding. No question about that. So then we just like immediately started game planning, like how are we gonna do this and survive. So I just took a week off. I'm like, I'm taking a week
Hmm.
off, and we're taking as many days as we need to get there and back, right? Like, we're not gonna subject ourselves to just torturous 10 hours in the car.
Yeah.
So it's like if we need to take multiple days to drive 10 hours, we're gonna do it and stop on the way there. But we're considering all those same things of like, all right, we got to load up the car, like we're moving, we're bringing all the clothes, the snacks, the toys, the books. We're gonna break out the screen time as well if we have to do it, because I mean, 10 hours when you got small children,
That's no
it
joke.
doesn't go over. It doesn't go over to just say, well, we only have 6 hours left, so just
I
just
know.
calm down. We're
Yeah.
almost there. So we're gearing up for that. You can pray for us on that end
I
because we don't know
definitely
how it's
will.
gonna go.
Are you going to break it up, or are you going to do it in one shot in a day, or try to do an overnight?
I think it's almost certainly going to result in an overnight,
Hmm.
both ways, probably there and back. So I took off the extra time, And I think neither of us really know what to expect, so we're just gonna like get in the car and start going. And it's like if things are horrible and everything is crashing and burning and it's a disaster in the back seat, we'll just stop wherever we have to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and make it work. So that's the current plan, but we're just going to try and keep it as flexible as possible, not have any expectations on how the kids do.
Yeah, that's so tricky. You don't know, like, is this 2 hour stretch going to be a breeze or is it going to be hell? If you're going to
Yeah,
get screamed
yeah,
at, it just makes it unbearable. And it's nice if you can break up stuff with like lunch or,
mm, mm,
if that
yeah.
works out. But 10 hours, that's a long stretch. We've done
It's
four
a feat.
hours before to Minneapolis to
Hmm.
visit in-laws. And then one time we took our oldest to Denver, but we stopped in Nebraska and stayed the night. And he was
Yeah,
only like a year and a
yeah,
half, and so he just like slept a bunch. So it was really nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're definitely not viewing it like a leisurely road trip up the coast or
yeah.
anything, but we'll make it happen. We'll get it done.
Speaking of road trips, so right after the Fourth of July weekend, Bree and I also took the week off work and went to Indianapolis to see the Indiana Fever WNBA
Oh
team
wow,
play, and so
yeah,
that was like our little vacation. It's the first vacation that she and I have had since our youngest was born, and it was nice. And we drove, and so normally we'd fly. There's no direct flights to Indianapolis from Des Moines, which is super annoying because
really,
it's like it would be like a 90-minute flight, but
yeah.
it's a 7 hour drive. So that was the longest I've driven in a long time. And my body was not prepared, but it was quite peaceful. Honestly, it's something about just being in a quiet car with no children to like give you anxiety in the back, just driving and listening to a
That,
podcast or
that's a
something.
luxury.
It's super
That's a
nice.
luxury.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure when we're on the way driving up to Michigan, I'll be passing like the semi drivers and be like, man, I wish I was in there driving for 20 hours because it's so
I
quiet.
know, yeah. It's like, let's trade spots. um,
Yeah. So how? Well, tell me about the game. How was the game? What you saw? You saw Caitlin Clark, and she was playing. Actually,
She
I know she's
was
been in and out
playing.
this year.
I know. We caught her back in. She like on the ride over. She announced that she was going to be playing again. So we were super excited. We didn't
Cool.
expect that we'd get to see her play. It was great. We had great seats. The Gainbridge Fieldhouse there in Indianapolis is really nice. And we got to see them play the Golden State Valkyries, which I'm sure all of our listeners are avid WNBA fans. But the
Yeah.
Golden State Valkyries is a new team out of San Francisco. It has Kate Martin, who's a former Iowa Hawkeye. It's Caitlin Clark's teammate, and so she was on the team, and we sat like right behind their bench, and so it's cool to see her play as well. They beat the Fever by a lot, so it was a pretty big
Oh,
loss for the
okay.
Fever, but it was still really enjoyable. Um, and we had some fun dinners and stuff, and that was nice. But yeah, it's the Caitlin's out again. She got hurt the other night, and
Oh,
so
really?
she's
No.
out again.
It's
All
it's
Star
like there's a
game.
target on her back.
It is like and
It's
she's
like people
just
are gunning for her.
yeah, and it's like it's just her legs giving her issues, which is too bad. Just the sophomore season to have all these high expectations, but I'm sure she will bounce back and hopefully have a good rest of the season, and then have a healthier seasons in the future. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
We'll probably go do it
Cool.
again
So
someday.
did you stay the whole week? Did you stay the whole week in
We
Indianapolis?
stayed 2 nights, so we like drove over
Okay.
Wednesday and came back Friday. Or no, we drove Tuesday and came back Thursday. Yeah. So it was a quick
Cool.
trip. It's kind of a quick trip to have driven 7 hours, I'll be honest. I kind
Yeah.
of wish I would have stayed one more day to make it worth the long drive back and
Yeah.
forth, but still a lot of fun, for sure.
And no kids, which is
No
crazy.
kids. Yes. Yeah. Thanks to my
That's
mother-in-law for coming in and staying with the boys. So,
yeah. Always big shout outs to the moms and the mother-in-laws.
mm-hmm,
The
100%.
mothers-in-law, I should say.
Mothers-in-law.
So the other thing that's been going on that I've been thinking about, Josh, is house shopping. Shopping
Yeah.
for houses.
Yes. You're in the
Um,
market?
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
The market I want to be, but the market doesn't want me.
Yeah.
Um, we've been looking at houses for a little while now, like
Mhm.
relatively casually, just scrolling Zillow as you do. You know, you pull up Zillow, you see what's going on. Keep your finger on the pulse, because we live in a relatively small and very old house.
Hmm.
Regular listeners know about my old house and my old house issues.
Yes.
And now that we have two kids and we're just accumulating stuff left and right, and we're starting to push the limits of the small old house situation. So we've been house shopping, and it's kind of a racket. Like everything is like really expensive. I don't know if you knew this. Like things are really expensive right now,
Yeah.
especially houses. And the current house that we own is old and it's small, so it was cheap. And we bought it in 2020 uh, during COVID, and
Hmm.
I think our mortgage interest rate is 2.8, 2.9, something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to look at all these houses, and it's like, you can't even buy anything that's less than 300, 400,000. Which depending on where you live, that might be cheap or expensive.
Yeah.
Around here, that's pretty pricey if you
Hmm.
want something nice and livable and that I'm not going to have to work on a bunch.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be trading my 2.8 rate for like 7
Yeah.
or
It's
6.5.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And I don't know, because the thing is, it's nice to sell a house in this market. We could make a bunch of money, but the problem is you have to buy another one.
Hmm.
So I don't know how people do it, Josh. What are your tips and
I
secrets?
I wish I had tips. We got lucky both times. We bought our first home together. Almost it would be 10 years ago because that's our wedding anniversary too coming up. But it was a new home, a new build, new construction. Um, and yeah, it was in like the 250 range, which at the time felt like a lot of
Wow.
money because it's your first
Yeah.
house. Um,
Yeah.
but now it's like you couldn't even imagine spending that little on the type of house
Hmm.
based on the market. So I think it's just a bad time. And when we moved to this house too, it was uh, right before like the market went like skyrocketed. It was
Hmm.
2021. And so right before
Hmm.
prices really shot through the roof. And so we like caught the beginning of it and sold our house at a really nice gain, um, profit or whatever, if you call it that, when you still owe most of the money to the bank.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
uh, and then bought this one for like relatively, it was more, but not an outlandish uh, price. And so it's tough out there, man. I feel for you. I don't know what what the solution is. What you like ideally like the interest rates drop, the market becomes a buyer's market again, right? And then you can buy something that's like much more affordable, and you're not on the hook for this high interest rate for years to come.
I know. I want to do what you do, or what you did. I want to
Yeah,
sell right when the market's turning, right? So
yeah.
I can pocket this big equity, well, actually, hand it over to a different bank.
Yeah, exactly.
But turn this big profit, but still buy something at a reasonable price. So maybe you should just tell me, I don't know, use your magic 8 ball or however you pulled it off the first time. Just let me know when we need to sell,
Uh-huh.
and
Well,
I'll do so.
it's tricky because I like we had two options when we were at our old house. Either I finished the basement because we had an unfinished basement, and that would buy us like more space and
Yeah.
thus more time. We'd have a bedroom down there and like a living area. It wouldn't feel so cramped because we only had one kid at the time. Or we buy a new house, and we ended up buying a new house. It doesn't sound like you quite have that option because you're just kind of like done with this older house, and you need something
We
bigger
don't
and
have a
new.
basement.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
We
that'll do it.
we have we have a crawl space that's full of dirt and water and skeletons. Unless you're a potential buyer, then it's pristine down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's in a tough way. Just like trying to figure out how to nail that timing. And I know
Hmm.
like you always have options. So like, well, we could buy something now and refinance later if things come down. And I think I just need to let go of the dream that like I'm ever going to get something at 2.8% ever again in my life,
Hmm.
barring total financial collapse, which
Who
who
knows?
knows?
We could, optimistic
Who
for that.
knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've crossed my fingers no. But yeah, it's tough. The other aspect that's playing into this is like um, my current job requires a hybrid work situation if you live within a certain mile radius
Hmm.
of the downtown headquarters, which are in downtown Des Moines. And I'm close to the edge where I'm living now, and I'm like, oh, if I move 15 miles north, I could
You
get
could be
outside the
full
radius, and
remote.
I'd be able to work. I could move to full remote,
Yeah.
theoretically.
Yeah.
So that's like limiting my search range. Like I don't really want to move closer to the
Yeah.
radius. I'm
Yeah.
close enough. If I could push myself out just a few more miles, then I can move to fully remote. But then, yeah, of course, that limits where you're searching. And then, of course, the place that I have to move is the most expensive area around me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can keep we can keep the listeners updated with my house saga, but right
Yeah.
now I just scroll Zillow enviously and I don't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep my eyes peeled for you.
Yeah.
If there are any houses that pop open that are absurdly cheap, not absurdly cheap, but like not outlandishly expensive, and they come with an interest rate that's affordable. No,
I,
that's not how it works.
how hard can it be to find something that's really cheap and really nice and exactly where I want it? Like
Just set the
that's
filters on
seems
Zillow for
reasonable.
that. Yeah.
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 Oh boy. Well, good luck on your housing search.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
that's funny. That's a predicament of remote too. Like you go, you
Hmm.
escape the boundary, and who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. So are you working back at work now, post baby?
Yes. Yeah. So we get 8 weeks of paternity leave, which is
Nice.
excellent
Yeah.
for America. I don't know if there are any Europeans listening.
Yeah.
That might sound outlandish, but 8 weeks, which is really really good. So I took 4 weeks right away
Hmm.
and pocketed the other four to take at some point later in the year.
Hmm.
Right now I was like kind of second guessing that when we were in the throes of not sleeping at all, and I went back to work. I was like, dang, maybe I should have taken it all at once.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's nice to have those other weeks in my back pocket. But yeah,
Yeah.
back to work, back in the swing of things. I've been there for just about a month now. Been back.
Hmm.
So yeah, back in it. Definitely prefer not working, but it's been as good as it could be.
Hmm. Good. Yeah. Glad to hear the transition's gone well. So, cool. Well, what is going on in the world of internet and technology that we have to catch up on, Austin?
It's all AI, Josh.
AI.
That's all anyone ever talks about is AI, AI, AI. And
Hmm.
honestly, I'm getting a little sick of it. I'm getting a little sick of it. I'd
Tell
like
me
to read
more.
about something else.
You're burned out on the AI talk.
I don't know. It's just like I think we're getting close to some kind of peak hype.
Yeah.
I think just like the amount of new startups, the new fundraisers for new companies that are promising to change everything about computers,
Hmm.
and then all the old companies that are trying to shoehorn in AI left and right because that's the buzzword du jour,
Hmm.
and they're trying to capture a little bit of the new market. It's getting old. It's
Hmm.
getting old because like I think like even as someone that uses LLMs every day, like even for coding and everything else that everyone else is using it for. I'm still right there. I'm using it, but that's just like I open Twitter and it's like I can't even find a non AI related post for like the first 10 minutes of
Yeah.
scrolling. Like I don't know, and it's all changing so fast right now too. It's like every announcement is a new breaking thing, and all these products coming out that are changing everything, and it's just like I don't know, like wake me up in 3 years and tell me like what's the important stuff, and
Yeah.
and I'll look into it then. I don't
Hmm.
know. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel there's a lot of similarities to the crypto
Yeah.
NFT thing that was just like I remember like Web3 and just people like you
Hmm.
have to learn how to develop
Hmm.
with Web3, and it's just with hoobly whats and zibbity zaps, and it's
Yeah,
nothing like you're ever
exactly.
used to, and like okay, I think I'll hold off on that, and I'm so glad I did
Yeah.
because now
Yeah,
it's just
that
like
worked out okay.
yeah. I don't think that's going to be the case for this. I think it's clear, like a fundamental shift in a lot of ways. But I think it's the devil's in the details of like, okay, what is changing? I think more and more I'm seeing people like be extremely productive by automating away of the tedious stuff, the monotonous toil tasks, prototype stuff to AI, LLMs. But as hard as we try, uh, the actual feature and product work that's being implemented in like a uh, big existing like monolithic app is not outright being replaced by just agents or code, whatever yet. And I don't know if it will. And so maybe the result is like, oh yeah, AI managed to improve our speed X in these certain tasks, but otherwise we're still kind of we have to do our jobs and like yeah, I don't know. It's probably very
Yeah.
nuanced. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's true, and I think that's why the Twitter discourse is kind of exhausting because you can't have any nuance
There's no
and
nuance. Yeah.
in 180 characters or whatever. It's just like hype all the time.
Yep.
Everything's changing. You're getting left behind unless you sign up for my product or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Definitely getting old. I think there is a sliver of folks online that are like being thoughtful about some of this stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
actually sharing pragmatic tips of like this is how I work every day with agents and LLMs, and here's what's practical and here's what's not.
Mm-hmm.
There are those folks like I don't know. I follow like Torsten Ball, who's at SourceGraph,
Mm-hmm.
who's working on an agent product called AMP. He's talking a lot about like practical AI stuff. There was one of the folks that work at Tailwind who wrote a long article about how he works with Claude Code. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Philip maybe
Mm.
at Tailwind Labs who wrote a really big and helpful article of just like really specific, really practical. Like this is what I do. This is how it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
So there are those gems, but you have to wade through a lot of cruft to get through those people that are like, oh, they're actually building with it and they have practical, thoughtful stuff to say. That's not
Mm-hmm.
just like you're getting left behind right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not totally disconnecting myself from it, but I find my eyes just kind of glazing over a lot as soon as I read a new tweet that's like, RAG, LLM, AI, reinforcement learning, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
buzzword.
There's only so much like hyperbolic stuff you can take into your brain in a certain time period without it just being fully like noise at a certain point. Like just like,
Yep.
oh man, we're so cooked, or like this just changed the game. I'm like, no, did it really? Like you got a really good result with that prompt that time, but like next time you're gonna try it, it's not gonna be really
Yeah.
useful. But you tweeted the good one, and so that's what we
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are cool things though. Gosh, are there any like good parts that you're excited about, or new products that have launched that you're feeling optimistic about?
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. Like I said, I'm still using a lot of the stuff
Mm-hmm.
every day. So I'm actually seeing the reality of it, which is why
Yeah.
all the hype kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple of things. So at work, we're a very large enterprise. So very large enterprises have the Microsoft stack, of course. We pay Microsoft many dollars for um, an integrated solution for everything, which means we have an enterprise GitHub Copilot license. And GitHub Copilot's not the cool. It's not the cool one that the cool folks are using. The cool folks are using Cursor and
Mm-hmm.
Claude Code and Gemini, CLI, whatever, all these new things.
Yeah.
But GitHub Copilot actually does support some of the other models. You can use OpenAI models. You can use Anthropic models through Copilot as well. But we don't have licenses to like Cursor or Wins or whatever, like at an organization level. So the folks behind SST are working on something called Open Code,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's kind of a Claude Code, so it's like a terminal user interface, terminal interface for coding agents, and they support as opposed to Claude Code, which is specific to Anthropic stuff. Open Code supports all the models basically that you would want to use, and they actually support GitHub Copilot with an SSO flow,
Oh
so I
wow.
can download Open Code. Yeah, I can download OpenCode and it's pretty smooth. I type in, the auth commands and I pick GitHub Copilot and it pops open to like my enterprise GitHub account and I approve it and I'm in and I can use Claude Sonnet 4.
Nice.
I can use Gemini 2.5 Pro. I can use the Premiere models through my enterprise's Copilot license, but I can get the nice the prompts that they have. They have
Hmm.
like special prompts for like ChatGPT 4.1, for example. They have like the special prompts. They have the tool calling set up. They have like the whole flow in there, very similar to Claude Code.
Hmm.
So I thought that was really cool, and they're doing a great job, like shipping really frequently, updates all the time. And I've been using it quite frequently at work, and I think that's been a cool development for like maybe an unintended use case on their part. I don't know if they really foresaw enterprise Copilot usage like that, but it's worked out super well.
That's a really cool. The fact that they support that, like the SSL flow. It's probably like that's at the very bottom of the list of someone who's normally doing an open
Yeah.
source project. You're like, oh, I'm going to do the like OpenAI key, the Anthropic key, and then we'll
Yep.
get to the other stuff later. But like the tricky one is the one that like benefits probably a much longer tail set of users who are like you or on Microsoft or Enterprise or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
neat.
And I think it was actually like a contribution that someone made to the repo since open code is open source. I think
Hmm.
someone like saw this need and was like, oh, I'll just add this in so I can use it at my enterprise, but then it benefits everyone, which is obviously a cool aspect of OSS and why it's nice to have
Hmm.
an open code as opposed to just the Claude code or the Gemini CLI or whatever the more siloed ones.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I've been using that a lot. I have found, like you mentioned, agents are still context limited. I work in an extremely large React Native application that spans, one main repo with 10 supporting repos that all have their own dependencies and everything. It's like you can't fit all that context into the agent. At least not yet, maybe in the future. So I do find it struggles a little bit with like the really large code bases just because it gets stuck in loops of trying to find stuff that it can't find and it makes assumptions that are incorrect about how the code is supposed to be structured. So definitely some downsides there. There are aspects of it that are nice where when you do have a really large mature code base, there are a lot of patterns that the agent can pull from, which are nice. You have a lot of really established, like, this is always where this file goes, this is always the function we call for this is how our tests are set up. There are a lot of really established patterns, which definitely helps the agent because you can just be like, do this new thing exactly how it's done everywhere everywhere else in the other 1,000 files that are in this app, and that's really helpful just because they're pattern matching machines basically.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a pro of working in the big code base, but definitely the context limit is rough and it still struggles working across repo or across package. Definitely something that I found there, but still a net positive at least in my mind.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's funny how our brains are in some ways a lot smarter than these LLMs today, or at least the
Yeah,
tools,
yeah.
like that you can tuck all the context about whatever 13 repos that
Hmm.
in the general architecture in the back of your brain. And are able to make decisions based on that and pull into that, or at least dig in further and know where to go. But an LLM can't do that. It's like you have a low fidelity snapshot in your head, and so
Hmm.
maybe the answer is like there become ways for these LLMs to take these small snapshots and have them in context without like needing every line of the source code in there, right? Like I don't remember what the file contains exactly, but it has to do with X. Seems like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
something like that will be the answer
yep.
someday. We should invent it and then
Yeah, let's do it.
make a bunch of money on it.
We could stir up some hype on Twitter, definitely.
For sure.
The other thing that I was looking at that's really cool is kind of more leaning towards like side project or like more closer to vibe Cody use cases is Convex. I don't know if you've ever used Convex,
I
Josh.
haven't yet, no, but I've been interacting with a guy on Twitter who works there. So what are you doing with it?
It's really cool. It's Convex is like a database slash backend as a service It's one of those flavors, kind of in the flavor of like a Firebase or a Supabase,
Hmm.
something like that. But their offering is like they're kind of trying to innovate on the database layer.
Hmm.
It's backed by PlanetScale, I think, which is nice because it's extremely scalable and um, performant. But they add like a bunch of syncing, a bunch of like easy to use APIs. They have authentication. They have storage. It's kind of all tied up in there,
Hmm.
which has the pros and cons that most backends as a service have. Um, but I had this idea for a grocery list app. I feel like I've talked to you about my grocery
Yeah, you
list
talked about it
woes
on an episode
before.
before. Yeah.
I think I did. But I've had these ideas for like a perfect grocery list app for me, basically,
Hmm.
which is like right up the alley of like an agent driven um, workflow of like I have this problem that I want to solve just for me. I don't need it to generalize um, and make millions of dollars, though that'd be nice. Not opposed to that.
Hmm.
But this was like a perfect use case because it's like grocery list. It's basically just like a to-do list, essentially. Maybe the simplest app you could build with just a few of the nice tweaks that I want to put on top of it. But it's like I don't want to deal with like a server and setting up my own auth, like all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and Convex has their own like build your own app, build your AI app with a prompt type of workflow. I don't know what
Mm.
that's called, but
Hmm.
like a bolt or a lovable style thing where you
Yeah.
like type in what you want and it just starts building something. And up, of course, it uses all Convex services. But this was like a perfect use case for it because it's like I want, I was going to build a React Native mobile app, but it's like I want to have authentication. Obviously, I want it to be persistent. I want it to be collaborative,
Hmm.
so I can invite my wife and we can both be making edits, that kind of thing. And I just started out with a few prompts on there. It's called Convex Chef. So you have this Convex Chef that's cooking up an app for you. So I just started there with a few prompts, and it's just like do all this boring stuff for me, like set up persistent, set up some APIs that I can save into the database, set up authentication. I want to be able to invite someone to my list, all that stuff. That's like I don't care to spend time on that code for a quick little app, but
Hmm.
that's a perfect job for an agent, especially an agent that's specialized in like a backend as a service where it doesn't have to reach out to any external services. I don't have to create any accounts anywhere
Yeah, you don't
else. I
have to
don't have
sign
to
up for
enter. I
things.
don't have to. Yeah, I don't have to create credentials for a new database or credentials for whatever. So I spun it up there and got it pretty far, and then they have like a download button. I downloaded the project onto my machine, and I've been kind of jamming on it from there locally. But it was a really great experience. Like perfect use case for a vibe coded app where it's like if I was trying to do this on my own, the agent would probably be like, okay, well, we do some authentication here. Can you plug in like an environment variable for your database credentials? And then I'll leave a gap here so you can plug in
Hmm.
whatever later. I didn't have to do any of that because it's like, it knows that it's all on Convex. It
That's
knows what it can do
yeah.
and just ties it all up for me. So it's just like I was working on it right away with no blockers. It was really nice.
That's cool. That's really cool when you can combine the have an opinionated stack, right? That's answering all the questions that normally, especially in the JavaScript world, have to get answered with usually
Yeah,
third-party
yeah.
services, like or
Yep. Yep.
where's this thing going to run? And if all that's decided for you, then it can just jam. That's pretty cool. I love
Yeah,
it.
and they done a good job. Like, it obviously has all the convex docs and everything in its context already. I don't know if they did any like official fine tuning or whatever
Hmm.
to make it nice, but it has like a rules file. Like this is what you do with convex stuff. And yeah, it did a really great job, and I've been able to get past all the kind of boring stuff and work on the features that I think are going to make my grocery list better than the other
Hmm.
the other
Hmm.
1,000, which is like I added like uh, obviously auto categorization for your groceries that are putting in there, but just a couple other touches of like cost estimation,
Hmm.
like a running total of like, hey,
Hmm.
you want 10 filet mignons that might be kind of
Yeah.
expensive, like a little running total,
Yeah.
and then I haven't implemented yet, but the other idea I had is like keeping a local like SQLite database on your phone of like all your previous lists that you've completed
Yeah.
so that I can suggest like, hey, it's been 3 weeks since you bought eggs. You're probably going to need eggs.
Yeah.
It's been, a week since you bought a loaf of bread. You're going to want bread,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But
You
it was
yeah.
really nice to just get past all the boring stuff and work on the stuff that I thought would be fun.
the fun features like that. Yeah, that's the best part. That's the best part of the AI
Yeah.
thing, in my opinion, especially the
Yeah.
side projects.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah.
the side thing I've been got put my eyes on is back in the Cloudflare world. I got
Yeah.
access to Cloudflare Real Time Kit, which is effectively Cloudflare
Cool.
calls. And it's their whole like WebRTC, centralized WebRTC thing, where like you join this thing as a peer and connect to Cloudflare Central Service, and then you can have 10,000 people join, and it's just like it handles all the connectivity and all that stuff. But I have always wanted to build my own version of Amazon Alexa. We have these
Oh yeah, that's
devices in
right.
our
Yeah.
house. I've probably talked about this before, or this
Yeah.
Echo Show upstairs in our kitchen, and it's got the monitor on it. And like every week, they add a new setting and a new version of an ad that I have to go in and like disable. I don't want to see those ads. I don't want to see those ads, and they keep adding them back in,
Yeah.
and it just barely works for certain things. We use it for music, for timers, um, and that's about it. And so like I finally broke down and started a conversation with my friend ChatGPT. If I were to build my
Yep.
own version, do it yourself Amazon Echo, what would I do? It suggested all these Raspberry Pi parts and stuff, the microphone and
Hmm.
speaker. Um, and I have a plan now. I wanna hook it up so that it's like a wake word listeners running that dispatches a voice recording that starts streaming up to a Cloudflare call. On the Cloudflare call, which is orchestrated by a durable object, of course, and a worker, um,
Hmm.
we connect a OpenAI real-time API as a peer. So it's like I'm talking to the
Wow.
OpenAI API. It's listening. It has a list of, it has a prompt, and it also has a list of tools that it can call.
Hmm.
And so then I can have this real-time conversation, which is mediated by the Cloudflare call and durable object. But then I can have a tool call like play music, and then it knows how to connect to the Spotify API. And I'll have this. Apparently, there's this thing called Spotify D, which is great. It's like a binary you can run or executable you can run on your machine, and it turns it into effectively what a Spotify thinks is a speaker. And so,
Wow.
yeah, and so I can do that. I've been thinking about it a lot. I haven't gotten time to actually build it, but I think what I'm going to do is start with like the web interface, like have a web client, because you can do
Oh
that
yeah.
on your. You can treat like your phone as your Amazon Echo and talk to it or whatever through Alexa.
Yep.
But start with a web client, be able to like play music or do a timer, and then um, and then eventually buy the hardware and implement the hardware version of it, which hopefully can use the same exact type of code paths, just a different like
Yeah.
implementation. So
Yeah.
that's my
That's
plan.
awesome. That's a really
Yeah.
cool idea. Have you done like Raspberry Pi stuff before? Or will this be your first
It would.
foray?
I've done it before. I tried building so I built a display signage product at my ad agency company back in the early 2010s. And I tried using Raspberry Pi to run the hardware and hook to all these TVs. And it effectively, the only job was to load up a web browser and use this. Uh, it's called Meteor. I don't know if you remember Meteor.
Meteor JS.
Yeah, Meteor JS. It was
Yeah.
using Meteor JS. So it was real time, and like they were all coordinated and synced. And it would display social media feeds and like announcements and stuff,
Cool.
pictures. But I think I found that it was just underpowered, especially back then,
Oh sure.
10 years
Yeah. Back
ago.
then, definitely.
And so it was not working. And I think just uh, it was not like running a bare OS. I don't know what OS was on it. It was just not enough. So what we ended up doing was actually just repurposing like Amazon Fire Sticks and just using their web
Oh
browser on
cool.
there because they're
Yeah.
like fine-tuned,
Yeah.
better performance, which actually ended up being a bigger headache because then you have to like register the Fire Sticks to some Amazon account. It's so bad. And I think what by the time I left, they were switching to like actual custom hardware ordered from China or whatever with some, it's just like an Android OS running
Yeah.
on it. And then, yeah,
That's
then
funny.
running. So
That's where your hatred of the Amazon ecosystem began, and now you're coming
Uh-huh.
back to go. You're coming after Echo now.
Yeah, well, I got so frustrated with that whole project trying to do hardware, the hardware aspect. I loved building the display signage software. It was so fun, so
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
But the hardware, I vowed to never do a hardware product again. I remember telling our designer that. So here I
And here
am,
you
but
are.
this is just a fun project. I promise.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
Low stakes.
until my wife and kids are yelling at me because the thing is broken and I'm late for work and I need to fix it. Um, then I'll be frustrated again.
Uh, are you thinking like, are you a 3D printer guy, Josh?
No,
Have you
I've
done
never done
3D
any
print
3D printing.
stuff?
No.
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah.
But it looks like fun. I wish I was. I don't think I'm creative enough to do it. But this sounds like a fun use case to like make some custom
Yeah.
cases for your Raspberry Pi
Hmm.
Alexa. Get those set up. You could have. Um, are you thinking like a display? Are you gonna do like an Echo Show replacement, or just start with
Oh, just start
a
with audio only.
yeah,
The
probably
display could be
probably
really
smart.
fun. If I get it working, the display would be fun. I'll do the display. Probably what would you do? Render, just use a web browser, or I don't know what you do to run it. Um,
I don't know how to architect stuff without talking to ChatGPT enough. So
yeah, same.
that's
Uh,
cool. Well, you have
yeah.
to keep us updated on that because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yep, I will. I will hopefully have more updates by the time we chat next. But I know you have an out today, so I want to let you get going here. But it was great chatting, Austin. Um, let's not wait
Yeah,
two
so
months again.
always a pleasure. Hopefully, we should be a little bit more
Yeah,
regular now that I'm past the initial rough newborn phase. We both are. We're both past the
right.
initial
Yes, we are.
rough newborn phase. And I don't know, Josh. Maybe we'll even talk outside the podcast.
We
We'll see.
could. We
We'll keep the
could.
listeners updated.
We could go get coffee or something. That'd be fun.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck on sleep. I hope that you get some soon. And
Thank you.
yeah, until next time, we'll chat later.
Yep. Talk soon.